I'm Lisa, or the Drama Coach on YouTube. Welcome to Share a Story. I'm going to continue telling you the untold stories of a water dragon by Carmen Kardashian. Weeks passed in this rugged glen. Autumn rapidly descended upon the Scottish mountains, and the landscape became an abundance of different colours. All the leaves glowed, from yellows to reds and rich bronzes. The fir trees were a vivid green, and the shrubs had different shapes, forms and colours. Red squirrels were busy foraging and hiding pine nuts, hazelnuts, berries and whatever else the trees provided. Deep at the bottom of the loch, Nessie was beginning the preparations for her winter hibernation. She smiled to herself as she has made her first important decision. She had invited her cousin Alex to Scotland the following summer. She had sent an invitation, now on its way to Transylvania, with Mac. Her dragonfly friend had kindly offered to pass the invitation to Alex as he flew over the Carpathian Mountains. These were the mountains where Mac had first met Alex, and they were en route to his winter destination in the east. Nessie would just have to wait for the reply. Throughout the Highland villages, farmers were busy harvesting the tasty grass. They would dry it and store it as bales of straw for the animals during winter, when the entire glen would succumb to the cold. The smell of hay captured the whole scent of autumn in this Scottish wonderland, a land that was so special for Nessie, Kirin and the rest of their friends. Life at the farm had changed with the addition of a beautiful female collie, Kirin. She had a bright personality, a joyful nature, and was very friendly. All the animals welcomed her, and they were happy to show her around the farm. Kirin's job was to look after the animals that couldn't leave the farm, such as the chickens, geese and pigs, and the old donkey, Oyster. Oyster had light grey hair on his back, with darker patches around his humble face, resembling the colour of an oyster, and the farmer thought it was a perfect name for him. Life couldn't have been happier or safer for all the animals. The heavy curtain of winter snow was not far from settling into the heart of the glen once again, taking the loch and everything underneath into a deep sleep. However, until then, Kirin, Rona, Lutza and the rest of the flock and herd met up with Nessie every morning, exchanging stories, making plans and having a hearty laugh. With Christmas approaching, the animals on the farm would have liked to have been able to show Nessie how much fun humans had in winter, from Hogmanay when the fireworks filled the night sky, through to Burns Night. "Who is Santa Claus, Kirin?" asked Nessie in fascination. "He is a wise, ageless, kind man with a big, bushy white beard. He magically delivers parcels wrapped up in beautiful coloured paper and tartan ribbons for the children. Usually, everyone has a little fir tree that they decorate with tinsel, coloured baubles and tiny candle lights. Santa leaves the presents beside the tree to be opened on Christmas morning. Even the animals are not forgotten. We get presents too." "Kirin, you forgot to tell Nessie how Santa arrives," Rona barged in excited. "He arrives on a big red sleigh pulled by 6 reindeer from the North Pole where he lives," continued Kirin. "I wish I could see him too, but the ice on the loch is very thick in winter and I'm not strong enough to push through it," said Nessie, saddened. "Why does it have to freeze in winter, Lutza?" "The water stands still, Nessie, and with the cold weather, the loch easily freezes. When we graze around the edge of the river on the other side of the glen, The water moves so fast that it rarely freezes, replied Lutzer. If I had Alex's gift, I would make sure it would never freeze, added Nessie. Perhaps someday it will get warmer in the winter. Now, we have to make a move. We've been chatting too long. See you tomorrow, my friend, said Kirin, leading the flock to the green pastures further up the glen. The grass by the lock was almost gone, so Kirin couldn't stay and talk much longer with Nessie. He had to be on the move and take the sheep to the other side of the slope, where there was still some rich grass for his friends. As winter advanced and the days became shorter, the light quickly faded in the afternoon. He knew he had to return the flock to the farm much earlier, before any prowling wolves could spot them. In winter, the howling could be heard echoing through the glen and all through the highlands, warning everybody that the wolves were skulking in the forest. In spring, when the weather warmed, adders reigned through the field of heather. But when winter gripped Scotland in its icy cold grasp, the only animals that ruled were the wolves. Kirin hoped that Nessie would never have to come face to face with any wolf. Wolves won't risk death on the freezing loch, so she is safe, he contemplated out loud. After he returned the animals home safely, Kirin spent the evening with Kiri, exchanging stories about how they'd spent their day. He told Kiri that he hoped Nessie would see the fireworks at Hogmanay and get presents at Christmas as they all did at the farm. He also mentioned the water dragon's invitation to Alex the following summer. What if Nessie asked Alex to come in winter instead of summer? Perhaps he might be able to blow some fireballs and defrost the loch so Nessie could see the fireworks and hear all the music, suggested Kiri. That's a great idea, Kiri, and I think you should tell Nessie yourself. Tomorrow morning, when I take the flock to the loch, I will let her know that you and I will sneak out to meet her in the evening after the farmer has gone to sleep, said Kirin, very excited and proud of his partner's idea. After all the excitement passed, Kiri told Kirin about old Oyster, the donkey, and how frail he was. She was worried about his health. The vet had already been round to give him a checkup and had given Oyster some tablets. On the following misty morning, the trip to the loch went smoothly for all the animals. The sheep stayed closer to Kirin than usual for safety. The sun had been swallowed again by the mist, said Kirin to Rona, while keeping his ears pricked for any unfamiliar noise. I hate foggy mornings, replied Rona. Arriving at the loch, one bark from Kirin was all it took to bring Nessie up to the surface. Good morning, my friends. Where is Lutzer? Good morning, Nessie, they both answered. I'm right behind them. A bit slower today. Must be old age, said a smiling Lutzer. Kiri has a great idea for you, Nessie. I will come back with her later this evening so you two can finally meet, said Kirin. Really? Today is the day I will finally see Kiri? Oh, this is great news. I can't wait. Nessie was so thrilled that her tail bashed the water, making those big circles again that grew bigger until they became large waves. Lutzer and Rona looked at each other. At that moment, they both realised the same thing. Nessie was getting even bigger, and her tail had grown a lot since they last saw it not long ago. Kirin was so surprised that he took a few steps back. Wow, Nessie, your waves are getting frightfully big. Be careful that you don't hurt anyone. Now this morning, we are going down to the river. There is not much food left around here for my friends. Stay safe and don't drown the Glen, Kirin added with concern. All around the riverbank, the land was full of rich vegetation upon which the animals grazed, relaxed. Deer and stags roamed freely up on the hills, undisturbed by any of the farm animals' presence. There were rich pickings for everybody. By noon, the mist was lifting slowly, and the last warm shafts of sun were trying to penetrate through the thick clouds. Near the forest, the glen was echoing with the click of the capercaillie, making their loud, territorial noises. A fox's high-pitched cry made some seagulls squawk and the ravens call. Kirin couldn't sniff any wolf scent, so all seemed safe. He knew most of these predators were nocturnal and only came out to hunt after dusk. A few hours later, with his hooved friends fully fed and the dusk closing in, Kirin decided to take his flock back to the farm. Sadly, these would be some of their last days of freedom, as winter was unpredictable and his master was planning to keep them nearer the farm in case of snow. Thank you for listening. Please come back tomorrow to find out what happens next.